They laughed at the old man's tattoo. Not because it was ugly. Not because it was strange. They laughed because they thought it was meaningless. But when the general's face went pale, when his hands started to tremble, and when he whispered a unit name that officially never existed, the laughter died instantly, because that tattoo didn't belong to a nobody. It belonged to a ghost unit the army lost, and never talked about again. And this old veteran, he was the last one still breathing. The Rangers thought it was just another ceremony, until one tattoo turned smiles into silence and exposed a secret buried for 40 years. The training ground buzzed with confidence. Young U.S. Rangers stood in perfect formation, uniforms crisp, boots spotless, faces proud. They were the future, sharp, fast, fearless. At the edge of the field stood an old man who looked painfully out of place. His back was slightly bent. His hair was thin and gray. His hands, rough and scarred, rested calmly at his sides. He wore no uniform, just a faded jacket that had seen more winters than most of the soldiers had birthdays. Some Rangers whispered, "Who's the grandpa?" Lost his way to the museum, probably here for a photo op. Then someone noticed the tattoo. It was old, faded, black ink etched deep into weathered skin on his forearm. A strange symbol, sharp lines, a broken circle, and a blade through the center. One Ranger chuckled. "Looks like a prison tattoo." Another laughed. "Or some fake war story mark." The old man heard them. He didn't react, didn't argue, didn't explain. Because he'd learned something long ago in war. You don't waste breath on people who haven't earned the truth. The laughter grew louder until the general arrived. The field snapped to attention. The general moved down the line, eyes sharp, presence commanding. He stopped briefly, greeting Rangers with nods of approval. Then he reached the old man. His gaze dropped, locked onto the tattoo, and everything changed. The general froze. Time seemed to stop. The confident leader of thousands stared like he'd just seen a ghost walk out of history. His voice came out barely above a whisper. "Where did you get that?" The old man slowly rolled down his sleeve, then rolled it back up. "I earned it," he said quietly. The general's jaw tightened, because that symbol wasn't a joke. It wasn't fake, and it wasn't supposed to exist. The general knew the truth. The Rangers didn't. And when the story was finally told, not one man could stand without trembling. The general dismissed the formation. The Rangers watched in confusion as their commanding officer personally escorted the old man to the center of the field. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Why is the general with him? What's going on?" The general turned to the Rangers. "Do you know what that tattoo means?" Silence. "That symbol belonged to a classified Ranger unit formed during a war we officially deny," the general said. "A unit so deep behind enemy lines, their names were erased for their families' safety." The Rangers exchanged uneasy looks. They were sent on missions no one else would take. The general continued. "No backup, no rescue, no recognition." He looked at the old man. "Out of 30, 6 men, 1 came home." The old man spoke for the first time since the laughter. "We weren't heroes," he said. "We were tools. But we protected each other." His voice cracked, not from weakness, but from memory. "I buried my brothers with my own hands. I memorized their last words because no one else would." The field was dead silent. A young Ranger swallowed hard. "Why didn't anyone know?" he asked. The general answered. "Because honoring them meant admitting what we asked them to do." The old man looked at the Rangers. "You laughed because you didn't know," he said calmly. "That's okay. Just don't forget this. Every scar, every tattoo, every quiet old man you pass might be carrying a war you never had to fight." The general stepped forward and saluted, not casually, not formally, but with respect so deep it felt heavy. One by one the Rangers followed, no laughter, no pride, only humility. The old man returned the salute, not as a broken veteran, but as a Ranger who never stopped serving. Some heroes don't wear medals. Some stories aren't taught, and some sacrifices are so great they're hidden in silence. Before you judge a scar, a tattoo, or an old soul, remember this: the loudest courage often walks quietly among us.